Okay, so now this is a good example of why you need to keep an eye and keep plenty of boxes for your bird box, because this is pretty crowded and I'm going to have to sort it out. But I am using the smoke to keep them calm and not too much billowing. You don't want a fire in your smoker. So I've got this at the edge of the hive. That way it'll kind of go up into it. And it's pretty steady, so I'm going to leave it for now. But this hive is very full and in dire need of a super box. I'm going to pull one of these frames just to kind of see. And I wish I had a frame lifter. There it's sinking down back in there. Let's see. Let me get them off of that side right there. And I'm not even gonna blow it. I'm just gonna gently get them off of there. See how they're doing down in there. Also, for added ventilation, what else I have done is I have put tarp underneath of my hive. That way, when they get ready to fan themselves, they can go down, collect water, whatnot, and go back, carry it back into the hive. And what they do is they literally spew it on the honeycomb and the other bees, and they fan their wings. So just going to set this down, and then we'll have a look at the frames. I have my other bee hat on today, so, and also I'm putting a little bit on my hands just to disguise. And if you notice, I'm wearing gloves. Do not, and this not to be bossy, but don't let anybody tell you, oh, you need to learn to not wear gloves and to expect to get stung and all of that. Because if you're being careful, then you're not going to get stung. So, this right here, I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to continue my inspection. There's a lot of brood comb. The drone comb is like really bumpy, and then you can see there's honey and pollen. This hive and this queen has been very active. So what I'm going to do about this is I'm going to set this aside. I believe I see the queen. She's right there. And there may be a multiple queens in this hive for as many bees as there are. I'm gonna have to split it because bam. I mean, she's right there. So now I'm gonna set this back down and I'm going to grab an empty frame from my box that I'm about to put on top, and I'm going to take one of the other frames out. Then I'm going to put it into this hive. She is actually on this frame, so I'm gonna put it right there. I'm not wanting to squish them. I'm just kind of working with them. Very gently, very gently. Going to let me check my smoke in here. Go. Make sure you bring extra fuel, because invariably you're gonna run out. And when you are working with a hive like this, you don't want to do that. So I'm going to be putting some more in there. And you just barely want it smoking. You don't want it like a fire in there. Keep the lighter away from the hive. Alright. So yeah, she was actually on that frame. So I will be putting that frame back in. Let me get this over here. Sorry. I'm going to try to keep this short. This one looks like a good one. Oh, great. That's an example of them swarming. You don't want to drop the... And if they do, I've already got my protective equipment on. So this, I don't want to take any of their food, like a whole bunch of it. And I may actually take this frame and put it in the top because I do want her to start laying. And I do want them to, now, when your hive gets like this, I'm going to move this. They are bearding and they are overcrowded. So just a tip, go ahead and add that top box. So what I'm going to do now, since this hive is level, I'm going to take this and it's going down in here. They're very calm right now, and I don't want to rock the boat. So they're going to get a new frame right here. There you go, sugars. And they will work with you if you let them. Okay. So this I will have in my white box. Let me check my time. Alright, so this is 12 minutes. So what I have done is I've taken that frame out of there, and I've taken the new frame and I've put it here, because what's going to happen is they're going to build upward. Now the queen is on that, and I'm debating on leaving her in the bottom box so she can just climb up or whatever. You know, it's all up to you where you want her. She's gonna lay where there's frames minus a queen excluder. But if you have those plastic foundations, you're going to have a faster build on your honeycomb. So if you don't want a completed brood box quite as fast, I would suggest using the strips and letting them take their time. Make sure your hives are level, so they're not building, you know, you don't have a lot of cross comb that you're going to have to correct. This is just information for the future, but this is what it looks like so far, and it is very crowded, which is another reason that they swarm. So I'm going to end this, since it is going on 13 minutes, and I'm going to make a video with the completed second box on top of the brood. That way y'all can see exactly what I've done, and I'll explain it as I go along. But she's still on there. Yeah, you can see her. She is right in the middle, and she is just climbing along and taking care of those baby bees, and very, very active, very active. And I'm so proud of her, because if you do this right, you will not have to buy or purchase, you know, a whole bunch of bees. You can just take and split your hives as you go. And you can split them into a 4 frame, a 5 frame, or 7 frame. This flow hive system, they have 7 and 10 frame. I don't know if they have 6 frame yet, but it's a good idea also just to let you know, to think ahead of time how many frames that you want. Also, I have a video that I'm going to do on the cleaning of old frames if they're dusty, moldy, dirty, etc. Now, I'm going to tell you also before I end this, the outer two frames are food. They're 90% of the time they're going to be honey. So this one, this one, this one, and this one. These are going to be brewed here with some drone on the bottom. And the queen is most likely always going to be in the middle. So I'm going to pick some of these other frames and I'm going to end this and split this box up into another box that I have made, the one that has the mesh on it and the holes drilled. That way it'll give the babies more room. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this process of me, keeping my honeybees, and I hope to see y'all back, and thank you to all my family and friends that have supported me, and I love y'all. And there she is. And it appears, and I may have luck, because I may have not only one, but two more queens there. You see the big ones? They're huge. 90% of the time they're bald. They don't have like any fuzzy on them for pollen collecting, because when they're in egg laying mode they don't need to fly, and they're taken care of by the worker bees. So again, you guys, I was opposed to smoking them, but I kind of rethought it, because it's like, oh boy, now that I have a swarm basically in my hives, and see how that they have multiplied, I kind of rethought that, and that is just for me and for safety. So like I said, your protective equipment, your gloves, your veil, jacket, suit, what have you, don't let anybody tell you, oh, you have to learn to come out and deal with your bees without your jacket, etc., because I don't want anybody getting hurt, and I don't want anybody getting stung. So I'm not going to follow the crowd and try to be all fancy and come out here without any protection on. Besides, I just started this, and it's not good advice for people just starting out, and I'm not into telling anybody to put themselves in harm's way. So I'm going to get myself situated with this hive, and I will explain what I've done in my next video. And all my family and friends, thank you so much. You guys are priceless, and I love you.